Good morning. Still morning? It is still morning. Putting a poll in here, guys. Thanks, guys, for being here. How we doing today? Good morning, good morning, good morning. I just posted the poll. Thank you very much, guys, for taking the time to answer the poll. Remember, guys, as you check in, go ahead, put in where you're checking in from, what time of day it is, where you are. Let's talk about how you're feeling today. Good to see you all, guys. Good to see you, good to see you, good to see you. What's going on today, people? Good morning. I am in the office today, working from home. How's everybody doing? We're going to talk today about it is going to get hard, always. It is going to get hard, people. There is no question about it. Don't think for a second that it's not. Don't fool yourself for one moment in the belief that in the pursuit of anything that you find to be valuable and beneficial for yourself, that there will not be difficulty. If it is not difficult, you are not moving at a pace that is appropriate for achieving your said goal. When it starts to get easy, you are either slowing down or not moving at all. Specifically, if you have a goal in mind, if you have a target in mind, if you have an objective in mind, you need to be moving at a way in which you can tell you are moving. And it's going to get hard. Now, don't get me wrong, right? It should start hard, right? There should be, not should be, there will be challenges when you look to get something done. Without a question, there'll be challenges when you look to get something done. And as you move forward and as you grow and as you build, those challenges will change. And as you learn certain things and those things become easy, it is an indication that it is now time for you to move to the next level, right? So I come from an age, most of us now are at a point where we play video games, right? And so now the video games are all subscriptions. You go on and they try to add new things for you to continue to pay and continue to play season after season. Like, it's about selling stuff in game. I come from a time when game was, you got a game, you played it until you beat it, right? And so the challenge was beating the game. And the knowledge was that as long as I played this game, every time I turned this game on to play it, it would become more challenging. The next thing would create a new challenge. If I completed a level, the next level will require for me to know different combinations of buttons, require for me to understand different ways to move, figure out different things, because it would continue to become more and more challenging. And that is when you're working on something and you're growing something. If you're working on yourself, your job, a business, savings, fitness, it doesn't matter. When you're working on it, it's going to be challenging to start. And as soon as that challenge stops being a challenge, it is incumbent upon us to take on the next challenge. I mean, it is imperative that we take on the next challenge as soon as that happens. And here's why. When we get to a point where it's not challenging anymore, we've also gotten to a point where we're not making growth anymore, where we're not moving forward anymore, where we're not growing, because growth requires challenge, and growth is change. So the way I say it is, where there is no challenge, there is no change. Where there is no change, there is no growth, which conversely means if you are going to grow, you will be changing. And if you are changing, that means you are overcoming challenges. So the first part is to understand that you want to grow. The second part is I need to find the challenges that are in my life, that are in front of me, that I need to overcome in order to grow. And then in doing so, once I take on these challenges, I'm going to see change. It's paramount. It's paramount to understand that process of getting to it, guys. I got myself a little iced coffee protein shake to start my day. It's delicious, guys. Make it at home. One, get to put some protein powder in there. It can be a little gritty in the taste, but it's phenomenal. Like, I really, really like it. Two, it costs a lot less. Just by getting anything where you're buying something that's prepackaged versus buying the ingredients and putting it together yourself, you're going to always save money. So really, really good. I like that. Thank you guys for being here this morning. Remember, as always, as you stop in and check in, do me a favor. Let me know where you're checking in from. Let me know what time of day it is where you are. Make sure you take a moment to check out the survey. The survey is right down there. And if you see things, anything at all, if you see something, hear something, or say something that you enjoy, please smash that like button for me. One moment, guys. Apologize for that, guys. I'm just chatting with my son right now. My son is working on a project that I gave him. I apologize for having the mic on. So all right, and you have a posting schedule. All right. What does it say about the type of places to visit? How often? To do the food reviews, the visits. Should you be cooking the food? Should you be going places to purchase the food? Gotcha. How big is this market? per your research, how many people are currently in this market? How
I didn't look for an exact number.
is it a lot?
Like yeah,
How challenging would it be to get a foothold?
like it just depends on how much you diversify yourself from other people.
Got you. And what was your per your research, because you were using ChatGPT? What did ChatGPT say in regards to how many people are doing it and what you
I
should be
didn't ask
doing?
for a specific number,
And that's something you need to find out.
so I need to know the exact number of people who
In
are
in
reading
order
certain
to in
videos.
order to be able to do it as a business, you need to understand not just what you're doing, but what your competition is.
I
So if so here's why. If you're going to open a lemonade stand and you are on a one-way street where there are 25 lemonade stands in front of you, why would you go out and open a 26 lemonade stand? You need to understand what the market is. You need to understand who's coming through, which way is the traffic moving, is this market growing, how do we monetize this? So keep in mind, this isn't just the creation of a YouTube channel for the sake of saying, hey, I created a YouTube channel or I created a platform for myself to review foods. We're talking about doing it as a business. And is this business growing, or is this business, uh, um, what's the opposite of growing? Contracting. So we need to be able to understand if this thing is closing up, if this market is oversaturated, that's not something we want to go into. Let's find something else to do. Maybe it's not in the reviewing of food, maybe it's in the preparation of food. Maybe it's in the review of fruits. Maybe it's in different things. So if we understand that that's an oversaturated part. For example, we know that as far as social media goes, gaming is oversaturated, which is why YouTube compensates so little for gaming. Is because YouTube understands there are a bunch of you guys. Most of you guys can go away, and we will be absolutely fine, right?
Yeah, I understand.
So,
So just figure out the
yeah, we
number.
need to know the numbers. You need to know, as a development of your business plan, whether or
Well,
not,
I'm not doing it.
right, but you're doing the project. So you
So
need
what?
to know in the development of the business plan whether or not this is a viable business.
I mean,
Now,
what
my
do you know
thing
it
is,
so that it can be successful?
right, find out what's it going to take to be successful.
So
How much market is out there? How much market share are we targeting? What are we looking to get out of it? How profitable can it be? How do I monetize it? How much money am I looking to make? And is there a different area that I can go into to benefit me? These are all questions that need to be asked.
Add all those questions.
And remember, you're working down here with me, son. What do we have in here? We have Elbot. Sir, is everything okay? You are looking sad. Public hair on the face is crazy. Oh, that's not public. Hey, Matt. Dude, this beard is awesome. Like, how do you guys, one, I just dropped my mic. How do you guys not appreciate my beard? That's crazy that you guys even think that the beard doesn't look great. That's the first thing. Second, I'm doing great. And are you guys answering the survey question? AOE bot. Welcome in, welcome in. Thank you guys. Make sure as you drop in, let me know where you're dropping in from, what time of day it is, where you are, what you're working on. Hold on a moment. So, guys, I am at home, working from home. I do have my two sons working on projects today. I hate to go back and forth, but I may step out for a moment to speak to my sons and address some of their questions or key points. Um, but this is part of development. My oldest son is 16, my youngest son is 12, and as a part of their growth, the process that they go through in this learning is there gets to a point, the school teaches you how to learn. Once you learn how to learn, there's a responsibility at that point for you to do work. There's a responsibility for you to take the knowledge that you have or the skills that you've developed to apply those in different spaces and do things correctly. So I cannot take this message out to the world and say, hey, here's what you need in order for you to be good. Here's the type of things that you need to be doing in order to see growth. Here are the type of ways that you have to address your challenges and overcome and learn to ask questions and find answers and do research. I can't take this out to the world and share it with the world if I'm not sharing it with my family. As I've said to you guys before, that this is real. This is an implementation. These are things that I have to stay earnest with myself about. These are things that I have to challenge myself about. I have to be self-aware and I have to be accountable. At the same time, these are also things that are imperative. If I'm looking to share this with the outside world, I have to share it at home as well. And so this isn't one of these things where it's like, oh, well, you're out here saying everything is all pie in the sky and everything is hunky-dory and everything is perfect and that we should be able to jump onto something and get it done. Like, oh, it's just that easy, huh? Well, no, it's not just that easy. I'm telling you that it's not just that easy. I'm telling you that it takes work. I'm telling you that it takes time. I'm telling you that it takes direction. And one of the biggest and most difficult things for so many people is just learning how to ask questions. If you don't know how to ask questions, if you don't understand how to address an issue or how to address a need, if you don't even know what to ask about what you want to ask about, there's impossible for you to find the answer. And the biggest thing for so many people is they look at the problem versus trying to find the solution. And so if we're looking at the problem, you ask me for something. Well, what did you ask me for? Well, tell me what I need to know. If I tell you what you need to know, how are you going to find out what you need to know? Trust me, every time you turn a stone over, you're going to find something else. You need to learn how to ask about what you're asking about. And this is how we grow. So why is this important? Because when I tell you the title of today's talk is it's going to get harder. It's going to get harder because you're going to figure out, I didn't know that. There's something that I didn't know. Currently right now on the LLC development that I'm doing, every time I turn a stone, there's something else I didn't know about. I'm having to go out and ask questions about what is this in the market? What is this called? What does this mean? What does this acronym mean? How does this apply? How do I perform this calculation? Who does it impact? How is this targeted? How has this been done before? How are these two things similar? What did I like? And I'm learning these new terms. I'm learning this new way of speaking. I'm learning a new language. And it's important for me to understand in order for me to grow and develop. But the thing that happens is for so many of us, we find something and we're like, okay, I know how to do that. And I'm going to stay there and I'm going to do that one thing because that thing is easy. So let's just do that one thing. And then we sit into that space where it's comfortable and we don't grow anymore. It is going to get hard. And then when it gets easy, it is your job to make it hard again. You should not have to look for an outside source to make your job of developing yourself more difficult. If you work on a job on a 9 to 5 and what you can do doesn't require much effort from you, and there are a lot of people who are just happy, dude, I'm just trying to get by. This channel's not for you. Dude, I'm cool. I'm just trying to live. This channel's not for you. This information that I share is not for you. But if you're the person, or you're the type of people who say, I want to grow, I want to do more, I know I'm capable of more, what is it that I don't know? If you understand that there's development, and as you work towards mastery, you're guaranteed to see success, if you're the type of person who's looking for that, then this is the channel for you. Because it starts with asking questions. You must ask questions first of yourself. What am I capable of? What am I prepared to invest? What am I prepared to do? If you're not willing to challenge yourself to see yourself grow, then all of the things outside of you don't matter because those challenges are there already. There are already people who are competing for the same job that you're looking for. There are already people who are trying to break into the market that you're trying to break into. There are already people trying to get into the school that you're trying to get into. People who are trying to buy the car that you want. Those challenges already exist. Those things are out there. But if you can't challenge yourself enough to say, I want to change how I approach things, I want to change how I behave, I want to change how I do things. If you're not in tuned enough with yourself to say, I want to challenge where I am, not where people say I am, but where I see I am. Not where I am in comparison to where other people are, but where I am in comparison to where I want to be, to where I believe I should be. If you're not prepared to ask those hard questions and realize that it's going to take an investment from you to get there, then you won't get there. You won't. And then there'll be excuse after excuse. Oh, I'm good. No, you don't understand. Like it doesn't make sense. And so, as I said earlier, I am home today. I have my sons who are on summer vacation. I have a couple of projects that I gave them this morning. They're down here with me. Occasionally, I'm going to step off of here just to engage with my sons and answer some questions and help them stay on course and kind of direct their path. Why? Because if I'm going to be sharing this with other people, if I'm going to be sharing this on a platform accessible by millions, and I don't do the same thing in my own home, I'm a hypocrite. And we all are. If we're going to tell somebody else to do something, we're going to tell somebody else to seek out resolutions and try to find answers and seek to make change and challenge themselves, and we're not prepared to do it ourselves, we're not prepared to do it in our own households, then we are not living up to the same standard that we're trying to set. And this is, and the challenge for so many of us is we don't want to face that challenge. So if I don't want to face that challenge, I can't ask somebody else to face that challenge. Because now I'm responsible for standing up to that challenge myself. I'm responsible for meeting that call myself. Guys, as you check in, do me a favor. If you're checking in from anywhere, wherever you're checking in from, drop it in the chat. Let me know where you're checking in from. Let me know what time of day it is where you are. Love to hear from you. Want to have this discussion because it's going to get hard, guys. It's important for you to understand that it's going to get hard. All right? I have Addie Breach. I'm muted. No, I fixed that one. That was a moment ago. What's the channel about? So Addie, you can see that this channel specifically is about growth and development. There's a focus on being able to fix your finances, but understand that it's tied to everything else in your life. You can't just say, hey, I want to fix my money, and you don't fix the behaviors and association before. Striker, what's going on? Hey, guys. What's going on, buddy? You said, great to catch you live. Like the stream, checking in from Brisbane, Australia. Brisbane, I don't know why I put that accent on when I said that, Striker, but thank you for being here. It's good to see you. It's just late in the evening in Australia, isn't it right now? It should be 11, 12 p.m. Let me know if I'm right. I'm trying to get the time zones correct, but it's good to have you here. Thank you so much. What we're talking about today is pretty simple. It's about things are going to get hard. And if things aren't getting hard, if things are still pretty easy for you, you want to kind of make sure you're making the changes. Midnight hours. Thank you. I'm getting better. I'm getting kind of close. I know that you guys are ahead of us, but good to see you. Thank you for being here. And so I want to encourage everyone who's out there and who's trying to grow and who's looking to become better. I want to encourage you to understand that there are challenges that you're going to have to face. And some of these challenges you're going to have to seek out for yourself. And I think that's one of the biggest things for growth and development for people is most people don't know how to find a challenge for themselves. Most people do not understand that in order for me to grow in any way, in order for me to start to see development for myself and to become better in any space, that I need to look for a way to challenge myself. Not necessarily look for my job to challenge me, not necessarily look for different situations to challenge me. I have to personally find challenges. And in order for us to find challenges, we have to be trying to get somewhere, right? And I think that's the easiest way to find a challenge is say you want to achieve something, right? And then if you've achieved that thing, then change any metric. Change any metric. And I learned this from personal training to understand this is how you can exponentially accelerate your growth, right? And it's really simple. So when it comes to fitness, You have the amount of time that you can perform an exercise. You have the resistance, meaning the weight that you can have on the exercise. And then you have the repetition that you can have on the exercise. So you have rest, you have resistance, and you have repetitions, right? So if you want to challenge yourself, you can shorten your rest period, right? So if you're trying to develop muscle in a certain way, you can say, okay, I understand that I can do this. For example, I can do push-ups. I can do 25 push-ups, right? And then I can rest and I can do another set of 25 push-ups. And then you say, okay, well, I don't have any resistance on it. It's just my body weight. So you can say, well, I don't have any other weight to add to it. So what I can do is either do more push-ups, meaning I can change the repetitions and go from 25 to 50, or from 25 to 30, and then from 30 to 35. Or I can change the rest. I can say, okay, well, here's what I want to do. I want to go of rest to 30 seconds of rest. And then you can also change the time on the actual workout, right? What does that mean? Well, that's saying, well, time under tension. So how fast do I want to do my push-ups? So do I want to do my push-ups quickly? Do I want to do my push-ups more slowly? What is my, like, do I want to do a 3-second count going down and a quick pop? These are all of the things that we can add to it that can change exactly how we're doing the exercise. Why is this relevant? Well, this is relevant because all of these things will change the growth. If you change the rest period, your body will adjust and it will say, okay, well, listen, I can do 25 push-ups, no problem. But you used to rest for 3 minutes. Now you're only resting for 1.5 minutes. And I don't have as much recovery time. So the body says, I need to teach myself to recover faster to achieve this goal, right? And as you challenge it, it will. It'll say, okay, we're doing 25 push-ups every 1.5 minutes. We got it. We've conditioned the muscle in a way to perform it. Okay, well, now I'm going to do 30 push-ups. I'm in the same time interval, but I'm going to go up by 5 push-ups. You can change your hand placement. All of these things can make it more challenging, but they allow for that muscle to grow faster. It's the same thing in anything you do. You just have to find out what are the areas that you can change. If you want to save money, so you can say, okay, I want to put money aside so I can invest it, or I want to invest money. And so you can say, okay, well, I'm going to start doing investing. I want to do $5 a week. And I want to change that to $5 a day, which means I'm now doing $35 a week. Okay, well, $35 a week is over the course of 4 months is going to be about $140 a month. Well, I want to get to a point where I'm putting aside or I'm investing $140 a week. So I have to make changes. I have to figure out how to get there. And maybe I'm not generating enough income to get to that $140 a week. Or I want to buy a certain number of stocks. And once I get a certain amount of money into my account, into my investment account, I get to $2,500 and I'm like, I would like to be able to buy more stocks. So I need to save money faster. And then you find out that there's a thing called margins that will allow for you to use your money and a portion of other people's money to do the investments. But we don't get there until we start doing these things. Like, we have to start doing the things first, and then it'll become challenging. And then when the challenges are things that challenge us mentally and emotionally, these challenges are far more significant than challenges that we have physically. Because physically, we can fight through it. Physical challenges, the same as physical scars, they heal fairly quickly, right? It doesn't take a long time for us to heal from a physical scar in comparison to an emotional scar or a mental scar. Like, that takes a lot longer because that's written into your psyche. That's like attached to your DNA. A physical scar will heal and you'll forget about it. Like, you'll forget about it to the point someone has to come to you and say, what's that? And you're like, and now you got to remember how it happened. But an emotional scar, like, if somebody comes to you and like, what are you thinking about? That emotional scar is showing. That's what's happening when someone walks up to you and they're like, what are you thinking about? Because your face looks a certain way. It's that mental or emotional scar that's showing on your face. And that means that scar isn't healed yet. You can heal the physical scar. You can be years down the road and just be like, dude, where were you just at? What are you thinking? What's on your mind? And that's why I'm asking the question, guys. Take a moment. If you haven't answered the survey question yet, it's real simple. It's what is the hardest part for you? Is the hardest part getting started? Is the hardest part staying focused? Is the hardest part um, uh, 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 there are four questions in there. It is the hardest is getting started, staying focused, staying motivated, or finishing. What's the hardest part? And right now it looks like for most people the hardest part is getting started, which is really interesting because for a lot of people getting started is the easy part. But it looks like that's a challenge that we're seeing right now. Give me a moment, guys. Going to check in. Like I said, I'm working with my sons today. Give me a moment. I want to check in with my sons. I want to see where they're at on their projects. And then I want to be right back with you. All right. So
I copied and pasted what you said.
you copy and pasted what I sent you in a text message into Google. And what did it say in response to it?
It didn't show the exact top on me.
What
I
did it?
had to like go there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Did you set them aside? Did you copy them into a document?
Notes.
You copied them in notes? All right. Do you know what the companies are?
Yeah.
Okay, what are they?
What talk about the companies you told me to research?
Yes, the securities.
Well, first one is something 500, like BSND.
No, that's the index, the S&P 500. What were the top 20 securities on the S&P 500? Because the S&P 500 is different.
It's like Nvidia.
Nvidia?
Do you know all the top 20s?
I don't.
So how would you know if I'm even right?
I'm just trying to say the name correctly. We're going to go back and check it. The first part is for you to find the information. What about you, Terrell? Where are you at?
I'm like
Hmm?
I'm like basically done. I came up with like full projections.
You're in the same market?
Huh?
You're still in the same category?
Yeah.
You stuck with food review?
Yeah, well, it's supposed to change.
I don't know. How much saturation is there in the market?
There's like there's like a lot, but it's one of the like still fastest growing like because just the general food trends on YouTube is like
Okay, talk to me about it.
like uh so like um if you're like just getting monetized
That's
and like um within like 1 to 3 months like of that you're probably not gonna be making that much a month. Would be like maybe that's like 50 like a month based on like like the like how dense the market is. But like once you're gaining more traction
How many channels are there on YouTube that do food review?
Well, there's not a specific like number of channels because that's not how like YouTube categorizes it. It categorizes it as views, but it's like over like 50 billion views a month across like food related.
Got you. How many channels are there a month? How
That
many
that that
channels are there that specifically focus
what
on
YouTube doesn't
on
do it
food reviews?
because
I understand you're saying YouTube does it. I'm asking you, is that something that you can find the answer to?
I mean it probably won't. I'm saying that probably isn't accurate because
Why wouldn't it be accurate?
okay, well I'm just gonna ask ChatGPT.
Can I have the fried chicken in there for lunch?
Yes.
Thank you. Oh, no, walking by. Gotcha.
Did we get an answer? Did you get a response?
Um, yeah, so that there's is no like actual like the way they're estimating it is that oh the total YouTube channels that there are on YouTube is like 114 million, and then they're saying if you estimate that like 1% of those focus on food, then it's like roughly like 1 million, and so
How many? What's that?
1.14 million.
1.14 million.
So yeah, so it's like around 1 million channels that focus on food because that's 1%. But the point is that's not accurate. That's why YouTube categorizes it as views and not channels because
What question did you ask?
I asked how many channels make food related content on YouTube. What focus on?
I asked specifically, so you asked how many channels make food related content, and it told you 1.4 million, not 114 million.
114 million is the total YouTube channels on YouTube, approximately.
Are you sure?
Yes, that's what.
That doesn't sound right, son.
That's what.
114 million completion, ending out situations or seeking something through to culmination. My goal shifts or I lose interest. I have an active creative imagination, but I need to pick and stick to one thing. Oh, so Striker, um, that's a challenge for you. So you're correct. I have a similar disease. It's called researchitis. So I'll go down a rabbit hole on something that I believe I need to know to get started, and then I'll get that same distraction because I'll start to uncover more and more and more and more stuff that I think would be interesting. And a lot of the stuff that I uncover does not pertain particularly to my goal, but now it's interesting and I'm kind of set off to the side. So for me, it's staying focused. So it looks like you're in that same staying focused window. And that's a challenge in and of itself. So that's one of the challenges for the thing that you're doing. The thing that you're doing can be its own challenge, but how do I stay focused on what I want the outcome to this thing to be? That's really important. Just a second, I just want to check in with my son. I'm pretty sure there's more than 114 million YouTube channels because in the United States, there are over 400 million people. So that's essentially saying that there are on,
I'm
that
saying
that
I'm assuming it's saying that post content, but also it literally says the exact figures or the total number of food related YouTube channels aren't publicly available, and then it goes on to do that estimate. Is what I'm saying. That's why I'm saying
okay.
it
So
categorize it by views.
okay, so maybe we're getting a little different information. How many channels on YouTube cover food reviews? That's what I put in. Uh, it says there's no exact count publicly available for the number of YouTube channels devoted to food reviews, but estimates and stats give us a good picture. YouTube overview. YouTube hosts over 31 million channels in total. This is from Reddit. Um, There's way more than that. Of these, right. So of these, more than 15 million are active content creators. I'm not sure where these numbers are coming from because they're way off. That's very, very low. So I'm going to use, right, because that's where those numbers are coming from, are Reddit. So this looks like something somebody made up in their basement a few months back. So I'm going to go ahead. I don't know if you have access to this level of research. I want to go ahead and put mine on the research, and I'm going to step it up a little bit.
I'm just saying that
Can anyone let us know how many YouTube channels
It says that it
are
says
out
there's
there?
more- says there's 50 there's more than 51 million. 27% of those 51 million are have less.
I have a million YouTube channels. Like, that's crazy.
I'm just saying those numbers are available. That's why.
Yeah.
And it's better to categorize things by views anyway. And so that's why it does. Because it's difficult to decide whether a channel is food related. If you make all Minecraft videos and then you upload one food related video and it does really well, are you now a food related channel? Like,
We should also probably go off TikTok and stuff.
Okay, so this is the thing. It's got 2.5 billion users. Keep it in mind that YouTube is owned by the alphabet soup. YouTube's owned by Google. If you have a Google account, you have a YouTube account. Whether
We're
you
not talking about your account.
No,
whether you I understand there's a difference between channels and accounts.
but not even that. It's like you can watch YouTube on your TV, which you don't need an account for, or Google.
You can come on as a guest. Exactly.
Well, no,
I know, but you can't have a channel without having a Google account.
Yeah, but you said users. Users are channels.
Right. Users are 2.5 billion. So that's what I'm saying, but you have an account if you have a Google account.
Yeah.
If
but
you have a
an active
Gmail.
channel and this is
Yes, an active channel versus a watcher are completely different. And that's important because you can make money off of people watching without them having an active
I
channel.
understand, which is why you do views, not
You know
channels.
that money is the root to all evil?
Excuse me?
Money is the root to all evil.
It is not, son.
It indeed is.
All right.
It's a Bible scripture. Look it up.
The Bible scripture does not say money is the root of all evil. It says the love of money is the root of all evil.
Exactly.
And what it is saying is if you place money and the value of what it can get for you over the value of people, then it's the root of evil that will allow for you to diminish the value of people in your sight and take behaviors that go against your own principles. So it is the love of money, not money, that is the root of all
Love
evil.
money.
And so this is the thing about understanding. If I had a love of money versus a love for my children, I would just tell you, go do anything to get money. That means I would violate my principles and I would tell you, go get a gun and go into a store and take it. Go hit people over the head and take it. Go exchange your body. Go exchange your mind. Go violate yourself in order to get money and put it in your pocket because I love money more than I love you. So I'm not going to instill you with any principles. I'm not going to instill you with any expectations of behavior. I'm just going to tell you to go chase money. So we don't love money in this house. We do, however, love ourselves and we love each other and we want to see us have opportunities and enjoy life, which is why we focus on living of a space from gratitude. Because when you start with gratitude, it carries over in everything else in your life. If you're happy with what you have and where you are, everything that comes into your life is an addition to that. If you start from a place that's unhappy, everything that you get in your life is temporary happiness. And you don't know what happy is, which makes it hard for you to ever get there. So, no, the love of money is the root of all evil, not just money. Now that we've covered that, so let's go with views. So based on views, how many views does food-related review content get?
50 billion.
How many?
50 billion.
And what time period?
A month.
So there's 50 billion food-related views per month. My estimate says here that
Mine
Right.
because not everything necessarily needs to be.
So the 31 million channel is channels that are deemed active creator channels. Like those are the number of channels that
Are you talking
are,
about the Reddit thing again?
yeah, I think that's what they're trying to say with the 31 million because there are billions of users. They're essentially trying to break down how do we categorize because like you said there are no specific numbers
Well,
for it.
I'm just saying, if channels aren't publicly available, then why are we trying to go off that? Just go based off views, and it's better anyway.
Well, we have to go based off channels because we have to find a way to break down how many of these available views are we working against others on. So here's the thing. Again, it goes back to the slow down. It goes back to the lemonade stand scenario. If they tell you that there are 1,000 people who want lemonade, and you say, okay, well, there's 1,000 people who want lemonade. I just need to.
I'm saying the point is we can't know the amount of channels.
Right. Here's
Okay,
the
so
but here's the thing. So what you're telling me is
to try
so,
and
right, right. So
because
what you're telling me is there are 1,000 people who want lemonade. We should open a lemonade stand.
what do you
I'm going
yeah
back to the
because you can if you differentiate yourself, then you can find your place
what are you
in the
differentiating yourself
in
from?
the the other content.
What's the other content coming from?
I understand it's coming from people, Daddy, but that's not what I'm saying. We can't know the amount of people who are making the, this content because that information isn't publicly available. So I'm saying if you want to keep the lemonade example, I'm saying it's stupid to go by channels because if people are running lemonade stands and then there's somebody who's running a sandwich stand and they happen to sell lemonade, then that person is that person now a lemonade stand as well? The point is you can't put those like you can't use the channels to be able to do that. Using the views which is publicly available still makes more sense
You're trying
because you
you
can't count
right.
you can't count
You
every
what
channel.
so I want to make sure I'm understanding you correctly. Because what you just said is we can't use the number of channels because we don't publicly know exactly how many channels are are out there. We have to go based off of the number of customers,
I said
the number
views.
of views. Those are customers.
All right,
And
yeah.
in this scenario, the
But we need
lemonade
to
stand.
switch between the two
So, so,
metaphors. So yeah.
so in this situation, you have the lemonade stand who has people who want to buy lemonade, and then on YouTube you have the views, which are the people who want to see the content. There needs to be a place for the lemonade to come from. There needs to be a place for the content to come from. You're saying if someone makes a food review or food based content, they're not necessarily in competition because the way you said it was with the lemonade scenario. If they sell sandwiches and they happen to sell lemonade also, am I supposed to count them now as competition?
Yes, that's what I'm saying, and that's why YouTube doesn't do do it by channels because they can't decide. Like if somebody, like I said, if somebody posts like Fortnite videos, and you post a sandwich review, and it does really well, then it then you continue to post like food reviews at that point. Then it's like YouTube doesn't YouTube doesn't decide like how to categorize like your channel.
Okay, so I'll accept that. It's not based on channels. What is it going to be based on then? Because we have the number of views, we have to figure out how to get those views on us. So what are we in competition with? Because your exact words is we need to diversify. We need to be different from what's out there.
Well, yeah,
So what are we looking at to be different from?
because the whole point is like okay because I looked this up and the density of the views. I don't have the exact numbers, but it's like oh like obviously a lot of people do like fast food like reviews, just like general like food like content, and they just go out to like
Striker 30 million content creators would be top earners down or something. Okay, and then down something, the resource. Got you. All right, what's going on? Thank you for tuning in. Working with my sons today, guys. Thank you for joining in. Working on some projects with my son. My older son is doing a research project on what it would take to launch a food review channel. What's the competition? What's the saturation in the market? He's kind of walking me through his process of figuring that part out. My younger son is working on identifying ETF purchase options based on the top 20 and where that's going to work. I'm going to be with him in a moment. Right now, my older son is kind of giving me some more information. I don't know if you guys can hear him, so I'm going to kind of repeat what he says so that it's able to hear. Make sure you check the content as well as far as the survey is concerned. And if you like anything, you hear anything you like, or you read a comment you like, please take a moment, smash that thumbs up. Just a like, that would be awesome, guys. All right, so what did you find in reserve? So right now what we're looking at is the
diversifying the channel in the sense of
So he's trying to find a way to diversify. I don't know if you can hear him. He wants to diversify the channel so as to be able to figure out what the saturation is and what the competition is going to be.
and I'm saying that if like basically you have to like heavily lean into the sibling part of like the food reviews because that's like a niche that's not super like competitive.
All right, and so in his research, the fictional channel that we created would be two brothers who are doing the food reviews, and evidently that particular niche is not oversaturated, where there are two brothers who go in, they taste the food, and they're going to give their own review as like a unit. So that's like a niche thing, not necessarily a specific to food, but it's like, hey, you have two dudes who are working on it. How do they work together? How does that play as like an entertainment aspect? Okay, and so how many food reviews are created a month? You gave me that number before, right? You said it was some odd.
No, I gave you food related like content views because once again like YouTube doesn't like categorize their like videos like that because if you're making a video about you on vacation and then you have food in that video and you're talking about the food that you eat, and that's only one part, is that then a food? Like the point is like YouTube doesn't categorize like that at like because that'd be too difficult to do.
Got you. So, yep. So it gave me a breakdown on it. And we could track trending food reviews, hashtags, totals. So yeah. So it gave me on here that I asked how many food reviews are done on YouTube every day. And then it breaks down, it says about 2.6 million videos uploaded each day, excluding shorts. That doesn't include shorts. So it's not including shorts in that. And that's about 360 hours per minute uploaded rate. And so YouTube essentially says every minute of every day there is 360 hours of content uploaded to YouTube.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of content being uploaded at a regular basis. It says, what about food reviews specifically? YouTube doesn't provide a breakdown of how many uploads are food reviews specifically. However, food-related content, recipes, the mukbangs, food travel, restaurant reviews is a major category. It's often among the top 5 to 10 most popular content types. Given the overall volume, if food reviews are just 1% of the upload, that's still 26,000 food review videos daily, not shorts. It's saying daily. There's about 26,000. Yeah.
That's just an estimate based on how
Right.
the market is.
It is right. And then it says, that's why it says these are estimates. It says approximately, it says if half of 1% of those videos are food related videos, that's still about 13,000 a day. And a more conservative estimate is if you say 2% of those, that's still approximately 5,000 food review videos uploaded every day.
Well, is it related or food?
It's saying that these are specifically food review videos each day. So I'm not looking,
Okay.
so that's the thing is, like if the channel is gonna focus on food review versus just food related content, and that's why I said earlier, I shared just a second, just before you, however, food related content, recipes, mukbangs, food travel, restaurant reviews, it's a major category. It's among the top 5 to 10. So
Yeah,
you would
but-
still be within that category.
Well, right, but I'm saying food reviews are some of like, but I would argue get like the least amount of views out of those.
That's
those
what the
things.
percentages that I just went through is.
No, that's what I'm saying. Which means it's not as high. Which means it's not as densely populated as the numbers are showing. Because as much as food reviews are part of food related, that specific niche isn't as like densely populated in that. Like
Right, it says it's about 1%. 1 to 2%.
1% of food related videos are
Yes,
food reviews.
yes.
Yeah, and so that's why I'm saying, if you're taking the approach of like the sibling aspect in the food reviews, then I'm saying that's why the channel has room to grow in the food.
But we have to look at both sides. I hear what you're saying.
I'm saying that diversifies it already.
I understand. But we have to hear what we're saying as well, right? There's both sides to it. The one side is this makes up a small portion of food related content, right? Which means in a bucket of everything food related, food reviews is a very small section in there, right? To stand out in this small segment of food reviews, right? Having two brothers do it makes in this 100% of just the food review category, it sets it apart because we're doing brother related content. You also have to understand in this large bucket of food related content, food review is small for a reason. Is because a lot of people are watching the other stuff. So even though food reviews makes up a small portion,
People just watch the other ones more.
right, the other stuff is getting more traction. Now, here's the thing to consider, is because of that, YouTube will also compensate accordingly, right?
Yeah.
Because your channel, ultimately, when you're monetized, it will look at your channel, it'll put it in the category, and it'll compensate it related to that. And then that's where the number of views come in. So if you have hundreds of millions of views in relationship to food related content.
No, yeah, if you're in a popular like category, but you're still niche, you're still gaining from from the part that you're in that category. The same way, like mommy's channel isn't like a kid's channel. Like it's more just like, I'd argue like it's more like a family channel type thing.
It's a family blog.
But she benefits from the fact that,
We have children, and so children watch.
well, yeah, I'm just saying, like, I'm pretty sure, like, YouTube probably categorizes mommy's channel as, like, a kid's channel, because,
They do not.
well, no, not like an actual kid's channel, so, like, oh, like,
There's some content on it that's for kids.
No, I know, I'm not even saying that, I'm saying, the wording for kids is, like, making you think I'm saying something different, but I'm just saying, like, mommy benefits from the fact that the kids are on there as much as it's more, at least in my eyes, is more like a blog about like mommy and like how she has like.
So this is why we have to do the research, right? Because one of the things, what we have to get away from, is the assumption part. It's fine for us to have a theory. It's fine for us to have a thought. It's fine for us to have a position or a view. But this is why we do the work. This is why we ask the questions to get more clarity. This is why we want to look into it, because this is why, yes, this is how we get stronger. The way we get stronger and the way we grow and the way we learn and the way we do more is by asking the questions that give us the direction to get stronger and to do more.
I understand, and I asked those questions, and I'm just saying, literally based on the thing that you looked up as well. All I'm saying is that there's room in the market for this sort of channel, and it benefits because it's food related as much as food reviews are a tiny part of the larger.
And what's the marketability? Where do we tie in? Where's the money made? You know, like.
Well, the thing about it is since it's food related,
YouTube is changing context. Just a second. I'm sorry, son. Striker said YouTube is changing content restrictions, replay, reuse of source content. Review channels must do more than replay videos and watch from a box in the corner and comment every now and then. What's the most popular content? I don't know. What is the most popular content? Mm-hmm.
Based on probably music, just views wise.
Probably, because there are the YouTube channels that, but those are different because there are limitations as to how you can monetize a YouTube channel with music. It says, yep, music videos are consistently the most viewed category on YouTube.
And then it's probably followed by like.
Despacito has 8.6 billion views.
I mean, yeah.
The Shape of You has 6.4. Baby Shark, anybody want to take a guess at how many views Baby Shark has on YouTube? Don't look it up, just guess. Just put it in there. Don't search it. What do you think? Baby Shark.
It's more than Despacito.
Just say
like
14 what? 14 billion. Oloropo,
Yes,
how many views do you think Baby Shark has on YouTube?
they have like 12 billion. Last time I checked, it was 13 billion.
So it's probably 14.
It is now up to
15.3.
50 billions.
Exactly.
Yeah, stupid billions. Other highly engaging categories, gaming live streams, ASMR, shorts, half fashion try on hauls. Oh, hair/fashion try on, educational tutorials, product reviews, vlogs, video podcasts are surging in engagement and popularity. So video podcasts are growing really quickly. Tutorials, yes, tutorials are up there. Educational tutorials are really up there. So they are growing as well. Just a moment. I got that. All right. And
Oh my god, I just had a shark
Stop
in my
angle.
chest. Got it?
Can you close the rest?
just a second, sir.
Yeah, I just had a sharp pain in my back.
Stretch it out. Get up. You need to move.
Oh, I'm moving. I'm moving so good right now. How many people are on the live?
Right now, there's 14. So that's how I smile when I'm talking to my wife. So tutorials are definitely on an upturn. Final verdict, music videos are the undisputed #1 content type in terms of total views and consistent global reach. Comedy, entertainment, pop culture, and how-to tutorials follow closely behind. Am I back, guys? Sorry about that. Got to make sure I turn on my do not disturb when I'm on the phone because I get spam callers. All right. I think I'm back now. All right, guys. So again, guys, Thank you very much for being here. My name is Oloropo. Welcome to BNV Finance Fixers. I appreciate everyone stopping in. If you haven't had an opportunity to, please drop a thumbs up, a like. I'd really appreciate that being in there. What we're talking about today is it's going to get harder. So the more work you do, the more difficult it's going to be. And so reviewing some of the content, some of the numbers we're saying about what's most popular out there, it is saying that music is out there. Everything is growing in every area. You're right, we need to be able to set aside with a niche, but we want to understand what's out there. So in the development of the content, we want to learn what's out there. What's one of the things that's really big right now is simply, what do you call it? Authenticity. They want people to be like, oh, well, I really want to know you. Like, I want to come into your life. That's the reason blogs are growing, but also podcasts are growing right now. It's interesting, because podcasts used to just be about sitting around and watching someone or listening to someone talk and not being able to see or engage with them. DJ, hey man, what's going on? How you doing today? Good to see you. Thanks for stopping in. Thank you very much for the thumbs up, guys. I really appreciate the likes. So I'm sitting here, I'm talking today with my sons. We're on summer break, and we're just talking about some of the things that are available, different types of content. Both of them have different projects they're working on. I've been talking with my older son today, Terrell, about creating a channel for two brothers based on food review, how to access the market, what's available, what type of work needs to be done, the cost of getting started, things like that. Just so, because unlike at any other time in the world, the ability to create a business that literally has no cap and you can open to the whole world, there's never been a time like this. YouTube was established in 2005. We're 20 years into this. Creating a YouTube channel is free. Going live is free. You do need to have like a phone and service. So like being able to establish that, or at least a tablet and some type of service, being able to do that means that there are opportunities to create businesses and grow unlike ever before. There are billions of users. There are a fraction of that are creators. And the users are out there looking for things. And the users don't necessarily have to have channels or accounts, but we do know of the users that are out there, the world wants to be able to speak to them. And so we're talking to that. And then my younger son, we're talking about securities and the best securities to purchase, top 20 on the S&P, NASDAQ, and on Wall Street in general. DJ, why don't you... Don't know what that one is, DJ. So now, when we go to the process of like moving to the next step, that's gonna, like I said, we want this to be challenging. So you have some answers, right? The default thing to do when we get some answers is to start filling in the gap. The brain does this, right? And we as humans do it because when people start talking to us, we start filling in the gaps of what they're saying, like we're finishing it for them, which prevents us from like being able to hear everything. Like, and it allows for us to communicate. It makes things easier, right? This is how we get tricked with our eyes. Our brain will fill in what we need to be seeing there versus what we're actually seeing there, right? So, as you start to get more information, as you start to dig into it and you get information, and this is what I mean about the research, you need to ask more questions about the broader scope. If you ever get to something and you go to explain it and you say, well, I assume, right? That means I don't have enough detail to know specifically what's going on here. Let me ask for more detail.
I mean, right. I only really said that in relation to honesty because I literally didn't know.
Right, but I mean, in relationship, but in relationship to anything, we want to try to get as much clarity as possible, right? Because clarity gives us, that's how you set yourself apart, right? I did a walk and talk yesterday. On yesterday's walk and talk, I said the 3 mistakes to never repeat again. Mistake number 1 is comparing yourselves to others. You can use others to learn from, but you don't want to get into a habit of comparing yourself to. And most people compare and mimic versus watch and learn. So most people look at what someone else is doing and then they say, how can I do something similar to that? Right? How can I be similar to what they are to get the results that they're getting? Versus looking at what someone is doing and understanding the underlying skills that they're using to apply to who you are to get your result. Does that make sense? Like for basketball, you watch someone dunk a basketball and you're like, okay, well, I want to do that dunk that he just did, right? Is one thing. Something different is looking at him and then understanding he had to develop skill sets with body control, power, explosiveness. I want to learn those skills and then apply them to me dunking a basketball and develop my own way of dunking a basketball. So there's the look and mimic, or there's the compare and mimic, right? And then there's the look and the learn, right? You want to be in the look and the learn, and then that requires asking more questions. So if I compare myself and I say, how do you do that dunk? That means I want him to teach me how to do the dunk. Versus I want to look and learn, when did you start working on dunking? What were some of the challenges that you faced in the beginning? How did you improve your explosiveness? The move that you did required a certain degree of dexterity. How did you work on your dexterity? It's more than just, I did this. I've always been flexible, but one of the things that I found really helped me out was stretching before or after. Learning to ask those questions helps us to learn to find the answer. So we're not trying to become someone else. We're working on becoming the best versions of ourselves. I have lack of focus. What I want to do. Thanks for advising and motivating, sir. We're always focused on advice and motivation. So one of the things you want to do, DJ, and that's why the survey is there, and it's asking what's the hardest part for you. And so what is the hardest part for you when it comes to doing something? Is the hardest part for you? We're still there. I'm having these glitches and it keeps dropping me. Hey guys, let me know if you can see me. I'm checking my network now to try to see what's going on. Are we still there, guys? Yes. Okay. So when you look at the survey, right? And in the survey, it asks the 4 questions. The survey asks, what's the hardest part for you? Is it getting started, staying focused, staying motivated, or finishing? Right now in the poll, it looks like the top 2 are getting started and staying focused. And that I can understand as a challenge, right? So for a lot of people, getting started is because a lot of times we wait for the perfect time to start. It's like, when is a good time for me to start my channel? When is a good time for me to start my business? When is a good time for me to start saving? When is a good time for me to start in fitness? And because we're waiting for the perfect time, we don't get started. Then when we do get started, like I said before, if you're doing it correctly, you're gonna run into challenges. And as we've run into these challenges, the question becomes, how do we overcome these challenges? And when we do overcome these challenges and things start to get easy, now it's like, what do I do next? Like, I don't have enough knowledge to know what the next thing is. And for me, that's specific to what I'm working on right now. As far as the development, I'm designing a business and a program specifically to speak to the public and generate opportunities for people to start living their life as a business really early on in their life, open up their freedom, open up their future, open up opportunities, not to be dependent on a government or some other institution to provide you with your way of living, but to really open up for you to live the life that you want to live. Because for all of us, we want wealth, but wealth is different in different people's eyes. So here's some of the challenges. In order for me to get there, I need help. Like I'm at a part right now where I'm asking questions that are leading to more questions. Every answer leads to more questions. And this is all the research I'm doing on myself. So what do I have to do? I now have to take on partnership. I now need to be able to speak with people. I need to be able to ask questions of someone who's in that space to make sure that this is being designed and developed correctly, so that's actually going to be beneficial. So it's actually going to have a benefit, and it's going to impact and going to have value. And that's where we start to say, hey, how do I maintain focus? Because we may find something when we're asking these questions is like, oh, well, that's interesting. Maybe I'll just do that, right? Because that sounds a lot easier. And I'll give you an example. When I was becoming a personal trainer, during the process of becoming a personal trainer, it was like, oh, well, you can just sell supplements. Right? Like, you don't need to go out and spend your time training. What you need to do is get people who are interested in seeing the way you are, and don't waste your time like actually showing up for workout sessions they're not going to show up for. Sell them these supplements. Tell them that they need this food to recover. Tell them that they need these vitamins to build muscle. Tell them they need these drinks. And then you sell them that. And so you sell this package, you get a subscription, and then you get recurring payment. So whether they show up for their workouts or not, which quite a few people don't worry about their discipline, because they're going to have a lack of discipline, which is how they got here anyway. Worry about their credit card, get into their pockets. This doesn't necessarily help them, but it helps you. So now it becomes, hey, well, maybe I'll do that. Maybe I'll just be a supplement salesman. Maybe that'll be what my focus is. The challenge for that, for anyone who's doing it, is that's when you've gotten to that second area of staying focused. Why do we get into personal training? What is our goal? What are we working for? What is our purpose? How do we make sure we combine our principles with our purpose to make sure we stay on course, right? And then that moves to the next thing of staying motivated. So now, am I motivated to do this work? We won't always be motivated. There'll be times where it's like, this is actually work. Like I've gone to this gym at 6 o'clock in the morning, 3 Wednesdays in a row, and Patrick hasn't been here. And I'm fairly sure Patrick's not going to be here. And I've given Patrick a number to reach out to me and let me know if he can't make it at least an hour before, and I've told him that if you don't show up, I'm going to charge you for your session and you're going to lose it. And so now Patrick still doesn't show up, and I'm at the gym. So now how do I make this time at the gym valuable for me? Well, I'm going to just do my workout. And so I start my workout because Patrick didn't show up. And then 30 minutes into my hour-long workout, Patrick starts wobbling in. And now there's this, oh, I feel bad. Let me make sure I give Patrick the time he paid for. And so you run into all of these challenges. And so it's your principles combined with your purpose. And so what does that lead to? It leads to motivation. Am I motivated to do this anymore? Because that motivation can go away, but that purpose can't. And so now you have to understand that there are going to be times specifically with what you do requires for you to work with people, and you're still exchanging your time for money. You have to have an expectation of those people the same way you have to have an expectation of yourself. And then you have to hold yourself accountable the same way you hold them accountable, right? Because as a personal trainer, I couldn't just not show up and say, hey, Patrick, you haven't been there in the last 3 weeks. So I don't show up and Patrick doesn't show up. Patrick shows up 30 minutes late, but I'm not there at all. Well, I got there, I was a little late. But if I don't go, Patrick can say whatever he wants. He's like, man, where you at? I've been looking for you for the last half hour. I never got up to go. So who am I accountable for? So I have to be accountable for myself first and foremost. I have to be able to look at myself, and I have to be able to say, hey, here's something that I decided to do. Here's something I said I'm going to do. And so I need to do what I said I was going to do because I said I was going to do it, not because there's an expectation for someone else that I do it. That's going to be very important for how we move forward. And so that's that motivation part. And sometimes they're not going to be motivation. Sometimes it's just your job. Go do your job, right? And then the last part is finishing. We have to know what the finish line is. So for a lot of us, there is no finish line. I just want to do it. Now, here's the thing. If doing the thing and without an understanding of where it should end is how we work, that'll make sense that each of the next 3 steps gets missed. So I just want to take a time, I want to take a moment, and I want us to think about this. Of the 4 things that's in the survey, it's getting started, staying focused, staying motivated, and finishing. If just doing it is the thing that we want to do, we finish that with the first step as soon as we get started. Like, I'm doing it. I got my channel up. I'm posting. I'm doing it. You are doing it, right? But what are you trying to accomplish? Like, what's your purpose? What is the thing that you're working towards, right? So you're like, I'm doing it, man. I'm gonna get my videos out. I want to get people to watch me. I'm gonna get get monetized, and then you do that, and people watch, and eventually you get monetized, and then you're like, I don't feel like getting up this morning. I don't feel like making a video. It's just like, it's a job now. So now we've hit that motivation part. I'm not motivated to do it because, well, I'm monetized, right? And seeing people watch was motivating, but it's a job now. So I recently was working with a gentleman who took a break, went part-time on work in order to focus on his YouTube channel. And then came back and was like, I want my full-time position back because, like, you know, he had reasons. I felt like they I felt like there was other things he could have done, but he had his reasons for changing. And then once he decided to make that change for that reason, he's in a different space, right? And so he leaves what he's doing and he goes back to work, which is fine. Like, that's a call that he can make. The thing that's going to be necessary, and DJ, motivation and discipline make man perfect. They help man work towards perfection. Yes, we're working discipline. Motivation will go away. Motivation is not a part of discipline. Motivation Motivation is temporary. Like, motivation is a moment of happiness, and it's good to have. It's good to feel. It's good to identify. I believe dopamine is motivation. I believe dopamine is more motivation than it is reward. I believe when you get the dopamine from achieving something, it's that thing that says, dude, we're going to do this again. You want to feel this again. Let's go do whatever that hard work was in order to feel this again. So it's less of a reward than than it is a motivator. So yes, I do believe motivation is a part of moving forward. But discipline is 4 things. Discipline is repetition. Repetition is going to be followed up with patience. Patience requires a plan that you can work towards with consistency, and consistency will be followed up with perseverance. Right? So understanding that perseverance is the thing that works on you, everything else works on what you're trying to achieve. So whatever it is you're trying to achieve, you first have to get to the point that you do it, right? Over and over. Repetition does not have a score. Repetition simply says, did you show up? So as a personal trainer, right, when I'm working with clients and they're coming in, Ryan, what's going on, brother? No problem, man. It was good. I mean, tag me or something in it, man. Like, I don't know how you guys got on or how you hooked up, but I don't mind being a part of that next time, dude. Let me know. You know, you got my email is on the channel description, and you can always, I believe there's a way to kind of, if you send the link out, you should be able to send it to my email. Let me know you're putting something together, drop a comment or something, and I'll join you guys on it. It'll be great to be a part of the conversation. And so for what we're talking about, for the repetition part, DJ, is that the repetition doesn't require any score, right? The repetition is just continuing to show up. And going back to the example of me as a personal trainer, is before I can work on patience and consistency with my client, before I can tell them, hey, this is going to take time, we need to understand that this isn't going to happen overnight. We're going to build on the things that we do. We're going to build this program, and we're going to look for results in specific areas because I have a plan for you, and that plan is going to have you here. Here are our goals. Here's the body fat goal. Here is the body composition goal. Here is the cardiovascular goal. Before I can get you to these finish lines, I need to get you started, and I need to have you disciplined. And the first step of discipline is just showing up. Like you said, you're going to be here at the gym at 6 a.m. Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Be here. Like that's the first part. If you don't have the discipline to show up, I get it. It's going to be tough days. That's why you got a personal trainer, because every day you're not going to be able to push yourself the same way. That's why you got a personal trainer, because you don't want to come in here and have to think about, is today a recovery day? Is today a leg day? I'm here for you. I have that design. All you have to do is show up and listen. That's the repetition. Be patient. And now the consistency is we have this plan. Now, some of these things are going to start to fall into your court. Are you getting rest? Are you eating the right foods? Are you being accountable for the things that when you're not with me, you have an a thing to be accountable for, right? That's the second step in discipline is that, the third step in discipline is the consistency. The fourth step is perseverance. Perseverance is all of those things as a personal trainer that you have to do outside of what you do with me in the gym. Stay patient. I know we came in here and we did squats last week. And last week you were squatting 205 and you want to go to 225. I get it. I got you. We're going to get there. Remain patient. Perseverance is when we go to do 225 because I say now you're ready. Perseverance is we go to do it and you go down and you can't come back up without assistance. And now you're frustrated. And then we do a second week and it's the same challenge. And you're like, man, it doesn't make sense. I'm ready to give up. I don't feel like that's when you have to persevere, because you have to understand it doesn't happen overnight. That's the patient part. But the perseverance is the part when you said, I've done all the work and I'm still not seeing the results. And you have to persevere through that until you get to that point where you come in and it's like, bang, we banged out that 225. That thing is done. We're able to do it, right? And so that's why it's important for us to understand what these things are. And so for DJ, I want you to know motivation is something that can be provided. And I believe in motivation. And as a personal trainer, that's one of the biggest parts of what I did was motivate. But there's the discipline aspect of it that has to be taken on by us in order to work towards perfection, or as I say, mastery. And here's the thing. If you use discipline to work towards mastery of anything, you will see success along the way. No question. Guaranteed. You want to guarantee yourself success? Use discipline to work towards mastery of anything. And along the way, you are guaranteed to achieve success, because success isn't the end goal. Success is what you see as you work towards mastery. And as I was saying a moment ago, before I kind of went off on this little tangent, is for a lot of us, we don't have a plan. We don't know what the end game is. And because we don't know what the end game is, it prevents us from being able to stay focused and to stay motivated. Because if we stay focused and we stay motivated and we start to see success and we don't know what the end game is, where am I trying to get to? Am I trying to get views, followers? Like, am I selling something? Am I like, what do I do? Where do I go from here? If we don't have an understanding of the things that we need to do next, which is why I say it's important to learn how to ask questions. What's going on, if we're able? What's going on? Good to see you, man. I'm doing quite well. How are you doing today? It's got to be in the evening for you right now, right? You're going to be somewhere around 8, 9 p.m. Let me know if I'm right. I might be off by a couple of hours. I've been checking your channel out, man. You got good stuff on there. And I also connected with your friend's channel that you recommended. So when we start talking about moving along this path, if we don't understand what the end game is and we don't know what questions to ask, that's definitely going to kill our motivation. That's definitely going to kill our focus. And so now finishing becomes very, very difficult. So this is what I say when I talk to people. I say, hey, when we're talking about emotions and we're like, I feel sad and I want to feel happy, what does feeling happy look like for you? What does being happy look like for you? Because we can prepare ourselves. Defending ourselves against sadness is not the same thing as moving ourselves to happiness. Like if you hunker down and you say, I don't want to be sad, and so I'm going to protect myself from sadness. Or I want to protect myself from anxiety. Or I want to protect myself from depression. Or I want to protect myself just protect myself. If what we're looking for is protection, it does not necessarily lead to anything else. It's hunkering down. It's keeping you in that spot, and you're always in protection. You're always in a protective shell. If we're looking to move from where we are in any emotional state to another emotional state, we have to be able to identify where that place is that we're trying to get to and how we're going to work to get there. Fable says, mid-afternoon now, 4:30. Okay. Thank you so much for all the support. Really. Hey, man, no problem. And thank you for your hard work, dude. You keep up what you're doing, man. It's really good. It's really good what you're doing. And you stay focused on your growth. Trust me, the whole thing for you right now, and from what I'm seeing on your channel, is the catharsis. It's for you being able to speak to you, for you to start to see that value and development and worth in yourself. And then there's the community. And as I say, if you focus on, I believe you were in the chat the last time when the guy, Eric, came in, F4 Able. I believe you were in the chat then when I explained to him that what he needed to do was work on himself. If you're working on yourself, and right now that's what you're doing publicly, is you're working on yourself. You're sharing your challenges, you're sharing your growth. As you go through that process, you're going to continue to grow. You're going to continue to see growth, and you're going to continue to build that community. And I love what you have out there. Arush says, hello, sir. I am back. You remember, I do indeed. I do indeed. How are you doing today? Sir, I have got another problem. Another one? When I don't study, I get nothing. And when I do just get my what? I get results, but they are less than the person who has not done as much or given as much effort. This makes me feel insecure, feeling that the want to give up. All right, so yesterday, I did a walk and talk. The walk and talk yesterday is titled, the 3 mistakes to not make again. Mistake number 1 is what you just said you're doing. This makes me feel insecure, the feeling that want to give up. Mistake number 1 is the thing that you don't want to do. Do not compare yourselves to others. It doesn't make sense, Arush. And I believe we spoke about this the last time, is you're talking about the testing process and you're talking about your growth and your development. Don't compare yourself to someone else. There's a difference between comparing to mimic and looking to learn, right? Don't compare. You are who you are. Trust in your ability and your studying, and then get the score. The scores you get are the scores that you earn. Do your work. I mean, that's simple. This isn't a long conversation for this one. This is simple. You do your work. You do your focus. You take your time. You get your results. And it's going to require discipline. And as I said at the start of this live, the challenge for so many people is that when things get easy, they don't look to find the next level of challenge. All right. F4. This is why I come here, man. So much good feedback. I need to find a way to employ it, if that's how it's spelled. Yes. So implement. Yeah, you want to just employ it. You want to put it, dude, you're doing it already. Like, just keep growing. Keep believing in what you're doing, Abel. Keep believing in the work that you're doing. Keep believing in yourself, and start to work out your path. Start to figure out your end game, where you're trying to get to, the thing that you're trying to do ultimately in a different area of your lives, and then continue to work there. And for everyone who's here, guys, if you haven't had a chance to, please take an opportunity, drop a thumbs up. It means a lot. If you've heard anything or seen anything that you appreciate, I would really like that. And if you haven't had a chance to look at the channel, please subscribe, share. Arush, I get even more distracted, even less bound to my purpose, which is found myself to work on while studying more or insta more of YouTube and weird. Okay, so here's what you do, Arush. So take a look, right? I'm gonna give you some specifics right now to work on yourself, right? We're gonna take a moment. Take a look at yourself and your schedule, right? And then take a look at when you're happy. What are you doing when you're happy? What are the things that make you happy, and what space are you happy in? Right? Let's start there, and let's just be happy for a little while. I get it. You got stuff to do. Everybody has stuff to do, right? Let's be happy for a little while. Let's start from being happy, right? And then let's start throwing away the things that we've been told are important for us to be doing. And let's be happy. Once you do that, you're going to start to see developing a plan for the things that you have in front of you is going to take less and less of your time. If you cannot study for a half an hour or hour or 2 hours, study for 5 minute increments, study for 15-minute increments, design it. But first thing I need you to do, and what you have to do right now because of the challenges that you present, is you have to stop and you have to be happy. You have to appreciate your life and your experience for where it is right now. I'm not there with you every day, but I do know with what you share in the chat right now, with what you share when you come on, you're expressing that there are lots of moments of concern, dissatisfaction, and just difficulty. Let's move away from that. Let's be happy. Let's be happy for a minute. I'm not saying that these things don't exist, but I'm saying take a breath, take a moment, start to check off the things in your life that are good. Start to run down a list, because most people can run down a list of 15 things that they would like to not have be a part of their life, things they don't like or things that bring them pain. Let's see if we can run down a list of 5 things that make us happy that are currently a part of our life. Not things that we're looking for, not things that we wish we had, but 5 things that are currently a part of our life that have value and bring happiness to us. Let's start looking for those. F4, I think that's what I'm struggling with. I haven't fully figured out what my end goal is. Right now, I'm just documenting my progress and hoping it will help people. I guess it's all I need to do, but I'm wondering if I can improve the quality of my content. You can. Like, there's always things that you can do to improve the quality of your content. I could significantly improve the quality of my content with lighting and things hung on the wall and cameras and different types of mics and music in the background. Like, there's always things that you can add to it. But for you, if we're able, I'm going to let you know right now, don't run too fast. Right now, what you're doing is you're being here for you. And remember, I believe that's why you started the channel. I believe when you first started posting that the purpose of being there is being there for you. Don't take on the responsibilities or the mindset of how do I please other people yet, because that's not where you are right now. I don't believe that's your current position or your current focus. I believe your current position and your current focus is still the same for you. Like, this is a catharsis for you. This is a breaking out. This is your ability to share your story. You haven't shared your whole story yet. And the reason you haven't is because it's still being written. Taking your time. Take your time, enjoy it. Start to enjoy those times of peace. Start to enjoy just being able to be to be understood and be at peace with yourself, knowing that this is a journey and not every moment's going to be perfect, but you're going through it, right? Arush again says, I don't want to die with my ghost of my potential staring at me on my deathbed. Here in India, the exam I'm preparing for is really competitive. A time I was completed 32 lectures in 10 days and burnt out. That was last year, December, but not even parents. I ain't that anymore. Okay, Arush, I hear you, man. I hear what you're saying. Like, there's a lot of pressure and it's all external, which is why you need to take a breath. You need to, like, what type of movies, if you're still here, Rosh, I don't know if you're still here, what type of movies do you watch? I know that Bollywood, I'm not sure if that's the cinema that you would watch. And I know Bollywood has very interesting, bright character development. But one of the things that's becoming very popular in Bollywood right now is the sense of self for the individual. The sense of the individual being able to separate themselves from all the expectation of the people around them. So let me know if you're still here, Arush, because I'd like to kind of speak to you about that if you're still here. But if we're able, I want to make sure I'm saying that right. I got to go watch some more of your content to make sure I'm saying it correctly. The key for you is to keep doing what you're doing. Like, stay on your growth, stay on your path, continue to develop that sense that you've been working on for quite a while that's separating you from others, right? That's separating you from your past self. And it's allowing for you to grow into the person who you want to see for yourself. What is happening? Sorry about that, guys. So, but if you're still here, just go ahead. And guys, for anyone who's new and just now stopping in, if you haven't had an opportunity to do so, please let me know where you're checking in from. Let me know what time of day it is where you are. It'd be great to be able to hear from me, to hear from you. Let me know what's on your mind, and please take advantage. Do the survey. Let's see what the thoughts are, because things are always going to get hard, right? Things will be hard. I just want to know what's the hardest part for you guys. What's the hardest part, so we can start to understand what to work on. And right now, in terms of if we're able, I believe right now, for you, the hardest part seems to be staying motivated. And there's the thought process of, what do I need to do next? Don't rush it. So for a lot of us, when we get one thing done, right? We believe the repetition stage needs to move to consistency very quickly, and we still have to perfect the repetition. We still have to just make sure we're being where we're supposed to be when we're supposed to be there. That's going to be a big part of making sure we're arriving where we need to be when we need to be. And so it's always great to have you guys on. I appreciate you guys being here today. Thank you so much for coming in and taking a part. Thank you for sharing with me as I shared with my sons. It was awesome to see that. It looks like getting started is the most difficult part for people right now. About 29% of people are saying that getting started is the most difficult part, guys. And if you haven't done so, please take an opportunity to take a look at the page. Go ahead, take a look at what we have to offer, and let me know. Go ahead, check in there, be a part. Let me know what I could do to better be able to assist you guys, to better be able to provide with more clarity and consistency. And appreciate the content. Sir, sometimes dark nights, 3 a.m., I contemplate that I'll make it, because at the moment I am feeling okay. Small steps count, but it doesn't heal the weird chest pain. Yeah. So here's the thing, Arush, about the weird chest pain. When you talk about your personal development, right? And this is one of the things, I'm not sure if you were here when I said it before, but what I just said a few moments ago was this. In India, in the India cinema, they're starting to do a lot of content about the individual and separating themselves from the expectations of their ancestors, the expectations of their parents, the expectations of the people around them. I think that's important for you. I think you need to understand that's going to be a major part of your journey, is the understanding of the difference between what you want for you and what others want for you. And right now, you're living in the shadow and in the pressure of other people's desire for you. And not that it's a bad thing. It's not that what they want for you is a bad thing, but there is an aspect of what you want for yourself. And then when you take that on for yourself and you hold yourself accountable to that, it should significantly reduce the stress. Yes, sweetheart, did you want, were you looking for a bowl of cereal? You want something to eat? Okay. Big brother,
Yeah.
could you help her out, please?
What do I need?
What would you like, sweetheart? You want a bowl of cereal? All right, all right, you haven't eaten anything this morning. Say hi. I'm hijacked into an emotional cage.
I don't cereal.
You do or don't?
And noodles.
All right, help your sister make her a bowl of noodles is what she would like. Thank you. So
Can I go upstairs afterwards? Because I did my research.
we'll take a look in a moment.
But I
Hijacked and